Legends, welcome back to another Ruck Infringement Podcast team preview. This week, it's none other than the New Zealand Warriors. To join me all the way from the Chip&Chase Podcast, it's my good mate Foody. How are you, buddy?
I'm great, thanks, Joe. It's been a while, off season, it drags on a bit too long. You get sick of footy at the end of the season, but God, I'm ready to rip and tear and talk about my favourite side with a couple of good blokes here today.
Love it, mate. Of course, up the wires. And to join us all the way from the Gold Coast, Mark Tooks. Tookey, how are you, buddy?
G'day, boys. How are you? Yeah, pleasure to be here, mate.
Mate, it is our pleasure to have you on. Of course, Tooks and I have done an interview on the Ruck Infringement Podcast. You can head back and check that out. That was quite a while ago, so go through the archives and have a look. But, boys, we're going to get straight into this. This is the New Zealand Warriors preview. All right, the first thing we're going to start off with is the ins and outs for 2026. Foody, I'm going to hand it over to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Look, it's a weird one. I think a lot of people coming into the 2026 season look at some of the gains that the Warriors have got, and a lot of people say, oh, we didn't lose too many significant people. But the losses that the Warriors got heading into 2026, it's an extensive list. If you didn't keep up with the reserve grade side, they flew very high, won, I think, a record amount of games, and then, of course, smashed the New South Wales Cup Grand Final, and then the state championship absolutely tore up there. And a lot of those juniors have been poached by other clubs, notably the Penrith Panthers. So we'll start with the losses before we head into the gains. Club legend, in my opinion, Bunty Afoa. He's heading to the Tigers. I personally think it's a big loss for the culture he brings to the club, and apparently he's tearing up the Tigers already. Tom Ale, another front rower, gone to the Penrith Panthers, along with Toby Crosby, one of our junior front rowers. Kalani Going, our lock forward and captain of the reserve grade side, he's heading to the Penrith Panthers as well. Freddie Lussick, he's again going to the Penrith Panthers. Then we've lost Moala Graham Taufa to the Rabbitohs, Edward Corsi to the Rabbitohs, Setu, one of our young wingers. He was absolutely electric in the New South Wales Cup as well. He's gone to the Dragons and is now looking like he might be a chance to start there. If he does get his shot, or when he does get his shot, he will be a bloody good one there. And it's also listed Dylan Walker, which, of course, we lost during the 2025 season. So a lot of notable players there. In terms of the gains, there's a few sort of juniors coming in to replace them. Hazen Mellors, in particular, is a winger that was signed from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So when we're losing Setu and Ed Corsi, he's going to be a really good gain there. He's a pretty big body on the wing, quite a physical player. Yeah. Another winger that we've brought in maybe on the opposite end of the spectrum to that big body is Alofiana Khan-Pereira, one of the quickest players in the competition. So that's really good depth for our outside backs there. You'd assume Roger and Dallin Watene-Zelezniak get first shot, but to have a prolific try scorer like him just keeping them on their toes is another really good in. Morgan Gannon coming over from the Super League, predominantly a sort of a second rower lock forward. I've seen a bit of what they're talking about in the preseason. He's trained across those positions, getting tips from Aaron Clark and Kurt Capel there. And then Jai Linane, I believe it is, from the Newcastle Knights coming across as well. So mainly reserve graders, but a couple that will definitely press for spots coming into the 2026 season.
Mate, absolutely nailed it. Fantastic stuff there. I think the Penrith Panthers might be a bit sour that you guys took Fisher Harris and Jet Cleary off them, so they're trying to get a couple back. But yeah, look, it's some great gains though. I actually think Lofi Khan-Pereira, he showed what he can do at the Titans. He is absolutely electric. So interesting to see how he goes in 2026. Boys, we're going to jump into our 2025 review. And Tooks, I want to start off with you, mate. Now, obviously, I guess you're saying indifferent year for the Wars in 2025. Looked really good early on, but the loss of Luke Metcalf, mate, it just stopped their season.
Yeah, 100%. I was there the day we lost him at the game. No. Yeah, they were shattered. It was at the I think it might have been Magic Round, or it was at Stadium anyway. I remember that. And but we also in the same game, I think we lost another one of our players as well. There was two of them went down with knee injuries. I can't actually remember who the other one was, but towards that kind of middle part of the season, we had a couple of really bad injuries, and then we lost Mitch as well. So, lots of excuses, and like every club, your depth's always going to be tested. I thought we really did well with the staff we had left towards the end of the year. I think we had a really good opportunity to blood Mitch Healy in at 9. He's going to be a good acquisition for us going into this season, just sitting in there to help out with Wade Egan. Or like you touched on Hazen Mellars. So I don't know if many people know, but I played footy with his dad, is Vince Mellars. He's an old boy of the club as well. So Vince is currently over here with in Logan, helping us out with the Logan Academy. So he's part of our old boys crew, and also Braylon Marsh is PJ Marsh's son. They just him from the Dolphins, and he's a young, blistering, very PJ-like actually, but he's probably a little bit bigger than PJ, which everyone is, I suppose. But he's showing some really, really good signs. I haven't seen too much of him play, but from all accounts, he's as fast as PJ was, kind of out of dummy half, which is pretty exciting, and he's a little bit bigger than him as well. So, they reckon Hazen Mellars is a monster. He's about, like you said, I think 6'4", and he was showing some really good signs down there. And I really like the fact that the Warriors have kind of gone back to the father-son kind of combinations. I really think our squad that we've got kind of first up are going to be very, very competitive like we did last year. Yeah. And just have the sheer fact that we've got Loffy there. We've also got Taintua Picky, and so we've really got a lot of options. And I think Nickel Clockstar's up to play in the centres if he needs to, and they can do a bit of a shuffle around there. So we've really got a lot of movement out in the outside backs, which is good to have. We've got a little bit of backup in the halves as well, which is also pretty good. From all accounts, I think other than Metcalf coming back mid-season, we're pretty well stocked there as well. So, and again, a lot of people mid-season, when most sides are starting to feel the pinch around Origin time, to have a Metcalf coming in fresh and with his leg running in his legs, funny things have happened that could just really kick us on for that back end of the season. So exciting times, and like I said, our pack speaks for itself. I think we're competing with one of the best packs in the comp, and how good is the lock going that we signed from the Titans. He's been outstanding last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing him go again.
Mate, you're exactly right. First thing, quick shout out to PJ Marsh, another great friend of the Ruck and Fringe podcast. We know PJ quite well. Second of all, mate, that pack, like you talk about Aaron Clark there, who come over from the Titans. He was lock of the year last year. He was incredible. And I thought Mitchie Barnett, before he got injured, was looking fantastic, played Origin as well. And then James Fisher-Harris speaks for himself, and to cover the loss of Tohu Harris, who was such a club stalwart, was amazing for you guys. Foody, you still finished 6th, which is not too bad considering the season that it was. 34 competition points, 21 positive points for point differential. Mate, what'd you make of the Warriors season? Where did it go wrong for you, and what'd you like?
Mate, there's absolutely a lot to like, considering 2023 we had that amazing year. 2024 it all fell away, and no one could really point to why. Even now looking back at the squad we had and the coaching staff that we still have to this day, no one really could pinpoint why. But then to come back in a year where everyone had already written us off because of that 2024 season, like I think the Warriors and the Raiders were the two teams like close to the favourites for the spoon, and for most of the season until we lost Mitchie and Lukey Met, we were first and second with the Raiders. And then it's just a really funny situation with the Warriors being top 4 all year, and then with everything that happened with the injuries, which is it happens to clubs. Like the Rabbitohs have been dealing with that sort of thing for many years now. But how it all just changes so quickly. If we don't have those injuries, if we stay top 4, Brisbane don't make top 4. Can Brisbane win a grand final from outside the top 4 like they just ended up going? It's just so many things changed, and it hindered on those injuries, I think the players that we had come in and step into those positions did an admirable job. I'm a big fan of Tanner Boyd and the stuff that he was doing in our reserve grade side. And then for him to sign on another year, despite predominantly being a reserve grader, and we know he's a first grade sort of player, it shows the quality of culture that the Warriors are building there. And everything I see out of that club, it just gives me so much faith. And look, it's absolutely got to be put down as a good year. Like, you can't say, like, you can say there's disappointment in how it ended, but there's reasons for it all. Heading into 2026, I have more faith than I had. Like, I wasn't exactly someone saying that we'd come last, but I was a bit more around we'd fight for the 8. To be where we were and to be in the position that we still are now, I'm absolutely enthused about how the club's going, and I think we're in for a big 2026 off the back of it.
Yeah,
I love it, mate. Look, let's hope so. Let's hope the Wars are back up there in 2026. Look, everyone's second favorite team. Everyone loves the Wars and love what they produce. But boys, it is now time to jump into a bit of NRL SuperCoach, NRL Fantasy. We're mainly going to talk about SuperCoach with Foody here today. All right, I've got the teams up here. Aaron Clark is the most expensive player for the Warriors in 2026 when it comes to SuperCoach. He's second row, 671K. Foody, buy or avoid?
I don't think he'll regress too much. I feel like his role, especially with what he did, is pretty solidified, but it's a lot of money to spend at someone who's got limited upside in SuperCoach. I think he had a couple 100+ scores towards the back end, or if there was an injury, he played bigger minutes. But I'd probably avoid, just because last year was his breakout year. You bought him at like 300-400K to be almost a 700K player. Exactly. So me personally, I'm not looking at him, but you could do worse. If you just want to lock in the 70-odd points that he's going to do per game, you could definitely do worse than Aaron Clark.
Yeah, for sure. He's one that I'm probably going to avoid to start the year. I'll see how I go towards that origin period. If I am lacking a second row and I need a premium option, he's definitely one. Mate, we moved down the list a little bit. Player I want to mention is coming over to your club, Lofty Khan Pereira, centre wing, 541K. I don't like paying more than 500 for a winger. Mate, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I thought he'd be a little bit cheaper. I didn't actually look at his price coming into the podcast. I assumed with being in and out of the Titans, he might have been more around that 400 mark. And when he gets that shot, if he was around that price, I don't mind it. I think the Warriors, as much as the Titans loved going to his edge, the Warriors are a better attacking side than the Titans. He'll probably cross for even more tries than he did there. But at 541K, I don't think he starts the season, but even when he comes in, I'd want to let him drop a little bit in price, or at least just give him a couple games to watch how he's flying and go from there. But yeah, I'd avoid to start the season.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Let's move down the list a little bit more. Obviously, Mitch Barnett will be back. He's 529K, which is a pretty good price for a player of his caliber. We know what he can produce in SuperCoach. Any interest there?
I don't mind it at all. The only issue is the fact that he's coming off an ACL injury, and in SuperCoach, I think the only player who's increased their average coming off an ACL injury was Roger Tuivasa-Sheck when he done his ACL in 2016. I think 2017 he was scoring higher, but every other player who's done an ACL, usually their scoring output decreases. So I like him at the price, but he's another one that you might just have to wait, have a look for the first couple of weeks, and if he's still playing 60+ minutes and doing what he does, then you can jump on him there.
Have to agree. Probably a good buy after Origin as well. Mate, move down the list a little bit to our mate who absolutely carved up last year, Leka Halasima. 502K, second row though. Mate, any interest in Leka?
I actually do, and I think that's because I made my side and I was like, I looked through it, I'm like, I don't have a Warriors player, and it felt sickening not owning a Warriors player. So I looked and I'm like, look, Leka is an absolute freak of a player. He's only going to get better. Yeah, can he score as many tries as he did last year? I think he probably could. He's just that sort of freak. It's probably unlikely that he does, but I think his minutes and role just increases. Like Kurt Capewell is 32, 33. He's not getting younger. He's got a lot of experience to pass on, and we've got minutes that can just go to someone. Marata Niokore as well, I believe, in the last year of his deal. And also he's into his 30s now. So I think the Warriors will find more minutes for Lecker. You have to for a talent like that. The issue is, have teams sort of learnt how to deal with him? Sort of a wait and see, but I do have interest at $500K. It's not a bad price for someone to do what we know he can do.
Oh, mate, absolutely. Now, a player I want to talk about that Tooks mentioned before, Sam Healey. Now, hooker, $429K. Very, very good. And we know Wade Egan is quite injury prone. Mate, if Healey could get a start at 9, is there some serious interest there?
100%, mate, 100%. He is a absolute freak. I'm hearing people talk about if he should start, and I'm not ready to say that. I think Wade Egan is a fantastic footballer, and if you don't watch the Warriors games, you don't see what Egan does. But Egan is prone to a head knock. He's too tough for his own good. Healy is just, he's an exciting player. He's a hooker, so you're going to make 40 tackles. There's 40 points in base. But the stuff that he can do in attack is like very few out there. It depends, as you said, if Egan finds some time away from the game in injuries, absolutely, I'll probably be the first man to pick him up.
I love it, mate. Now, let's jump into a couple of cheap options. Obviously, Jacob Laban. He had a couple of games last year. We know what the guy can produce. Very, very good young second rower. $299K. If he gets a start, I'm definitely interested. It'll all depend on if he does. I just think at that price point, I can probably go cheaper elsewhere in the second row. Any interest in Laban, mate?
Yeah, it all sort of depends. If he starts, sure, but I don't know if he's jumping above Leka Halasima in the pecking order. Maybe they prefer Leka's impact off the bench, but he's a weird one, Laban. Like, he was ahead of essentially all of our rookies. He was leading our rookie class, and he's just had some unfortunate injuries. He was still really good in New South Wales Cup. If/when he gets his chance, I'll own him, but probably not to start the season.
And then the last one I want to talk about, you both have mentioned him, Hazen Mellars, centre wing, $201K. If he could crack a centre spot, he's a buy for me.
100%, mate. I think it's really I'm seeing all the content that the Warriors are putting out, and he's featuring heavily. He's talking to media. They're showing him tearing up at training. It's really exciting to see a young fella do what he's doing and be so upfront to the media and talk with so much confidence in his own ability. I think, obviously with Alofiana Khan-Pereira coming across, we still have Rocco Berra, who's currently injured in the centres, Ali Leitao, Adam Pompey. We are quite well off in the outside backs. But there's something about the way that he's being presented and he's presenting himself across everything I'm seeing out of the club that gets me really excited about him. And at bottom dollar, as soon as he gets a game, I want to bring him in.
Yeah, 100%. That is it for our Warriors players for SuperCoach. We do have a comp running in ruck infringement. Our league code is 693809. I'll drop that in the description. Foody, do you guys have a code up yet?
No, nothing yet, mate. Still working a few ins and outs with potentially a partner of the show coming in 2026. Beautiful. So nothing yet, but stay tuned. We'll have something out there. I ended up coming third last time, so had to pay out to a couple people above me, unfortunately.
Oh, that's never fun, mate. But don't forget to check out SuperCoach. Of course, it is lots of fun this year. All right, we're going to jump into some players to watch now. Tooks, I know, is very excited for this part. So, Tooks, without further ado, can you give us 3 players to watch for 2026, mate?
3 players to watch. You got to get excited around Leka. He had a breakout year last year, and I think he's an absolute excitement machine. I'd be interested to see when Loffy does make his debut for the Warriors. I don't believe he'll do it from at the start of the season. But like I said, we've got quite a few options there. But yeah, well, if he gets a run, you definitely want to keep an eye on him. I was at the Titans, coached the Titans disability side this year, so I had a little bit to do with around training with seeing Loffy, and he's definitely got some wheels, and he's as quick as.
Yeah.
And probably Sam Healy again.
Ooh,
I was excited to see him the way he went. I'm pretty excited about this Pommy fellow we got, Gannon. I don't know too much about him, but he seems to be exciting. And obviously, see how Metcalf comes back from injury. He's got the temperament to slot straight back in and be no drama. But yeah, it plays on your mind when you do ACLs and that type of thing. So they're the few that I'm keen to watch. And again, I've seen a few videos around Mitchy Barnett, who's come back from his injuries. When I saw him last year, he just had knee or ankle surgery. He had his shoulder done. His elbow was in some bandages. He had, I think he had 3 operations in about 4 weeks or something. So, he was in a bit of a state, but he's looking $1 million at the moment. And, we even Murata Nakora and those guys, like they had a really rough back end of the year with injury as well. So again, seeing some of the stuff on Facebook and that social media, they're all looking in really good nick. So it's very exciting times. Let's just hope they all can stay fit.
Yeah, look, that's the hope. That's the dream. Foodie, some players to watch for 2026.
Yeah, my first one's got to be Hazen Mellar, who we've spoken well and truly enough about now. But yeah, as I said, just the amount we are seeing the clubs putting across of him, I am really excited about him. I didn't watch too many of the Rabbitohs sort of New South Wales Cup games last year, just when we played them, and then the highlights after the signing was announced, and I went back to see what we got, and I'm just really excited about that sort of bigger body on the wing. It's been a staple of the Warriors from Vatave to Momalo and Fusatu'a, and going back even further, that you get your meters out of your wing. And Roger and Dallin do that, but in a different sort of way. They run hard and they step through. It'll be interesting to see a really big body back on that wing when he gets his chance. So Hazen Mellar is one of them. It's a bit of a different one, but I'm going to say Chance as a player to watch because of the pressure he's under, because he's only just signed an extra deal. Everyone was saying move him on. There's still the chat, Roger to play fullback or Tane Tuapiki to play fullback. Like, there's a lot of good players in that club. I absolutely love Chance, and I'm happy if he's playing centre or fullback, but I still think he has a lot to offer there, and I'm really excited to see what the pressure brings out of him this year, no matter what. The Warriors benefit from that. So he's a player that I've got to watch. Gannon is the other one as well. The Pommy coming across. Also someone I didn't know too much about, and there's a lot less footage that you can find of him than someone like a winger like Mellars to find what he's doing. But from all reports I hear, he's just made of the right stuff, as English forwards tend to be. They're some of the toughest blokes around. And hearing that he's just gone into training and he's picking the brains of all of the senior playing group about second row, look forward, wherever he ends up, I think he's just going to be a workhorse for us. And I think that's someone that the Warriors will thrive with. So he's the other one for me that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Oh, I love it, boys. Some great shouts there. Boys, for me, I'm going Vaimalga. Thought he was really, really good last year off the bench. Fantastic young player. I think if he can get a crack this year, he's going to be something else. I think people are really going to – their eyes are going to be open when they see the offload ability he has, the speed he has as a forward as well. I think people are going to be quite shocked with how good Vaimalga actually is as a player. So he's one for me to watch. Look, it's all forwards for me. As a former forward myself, it's got to be forwards. Aaron Clark, as we spoke about, Aaron Clark, he was fantastic last year. I think he just goes to another level this year. He's just such a good player. He's got a fantastic ball playing ability, and he's just a big body as well, and can fill in at hooker if they need it as well. So I think Aaron Clark, and of course, the safe option, James Fisher-Harris. We already know what he can produce, and I think that he will just keep leading this team to really, really great things. I mean, hopefully for you Wires fans, it's a premiership. That can be the dream. But, look, Fisher-Harris has to be the third one for me. All right, boys, we're going to jump into the ladder finish for 2026. Here it is. Foodie, lead us off. Where are the Wires going to finish this season?
You've thrown me on the spot. I wanted to see what you guys said to hitchhike off you. But no, I think we finish in a similar position. I think we'll be a better side. Like we won a lot of tight contests, and it's great to see the way that we did play. I think we'll be better side. I think we'll put teams to the sword more this year. But I think that the teams around are also just improving. I think the Panthers have a chip on their shoulder, and we know how they were below us for the majority of the year. The Rabbitohs, they're a very threatening side. There's just a lot of teams getting better. The Knights with Dylan Brown and et cetera going in. So I think we end up probably 6th or 7th, despite, as I said, in my opinion, being a better side than we were in 2025. It also doesn't help that we're without Lukey Met for the first, I think, 2 months of the season or 7 rounds or something. So see how many wins we can get during that period. Last year we started on fire. We could finish as high as, 3rd or 4th. We could finish as low as, wouldn't say below 9th or 10th. I think it's just going to be a really competitive year, which is going to be great as just a general footy fan and a member of a podcast who watches every game. But as a Warriors fan, I'm very excited, and I think we make that top 8 again this year.
Love it, mate. Tooks, where are the Wires going to finish?
I totally agree with you, Foodie, mate. I think, without Metcalf at the start of the year, we might, just not quite go as well as we did last year. We got off to a flying start and we're sitting second, like you said. So I think, I reckon around about that origin period and when Luke Metcalf's coming back, that's when the whips will start cracking for us and we'll have a bit of a surge in the competition. In saying that too, I think without having a lot of our frontline players at the back end of last year, we're going to be better off for the blooding of those younger fellas. So, really looking forward to – I don't think – we haven't gone out to the market and bought amazingly well, but we've promoted our reserve grade boys that we've got left that haven't been stolen from Penrith to bolster our ranks, and so there's some exciting young blood there that we can really rely upon. And I just think we're going to be better for the run last year. I know the back end of the season wasn't ideal or anything like that, but we'll be better for the run with those guys. Even Tanner Boyd and that, jumping up and doing the job, they're all just going to be so much better for it. So I reckon they would have had a real cracking off season, being hungry for a little bit more of that. And like, again, somewhat either Chanel or Tanner is going to be in that half role, maybe Gannon or even Jai Lanane. I don't know, but yeah, they're going to be in amongst the halves. And they'll just do the job, and they'll do it a little bit better than last year just because of their experience that they got. So we've got the Braylon Marshes and those type of kids sitting in the reserve grade side, which I must quickly say that the reserve grade boys are coming over to Logan to have a trial against Redcliffe Dolphins in February. So I'm really looking forward to meeting a couple of these young fellas and seeing them have a run as well. So exciting times. To answer the question, I'm thinking 5th, 6th. I do definitely see us in the top 8. It'll be a very disappointing year if we don't make top 8, to be honest with you. I think we're about where we were last year, to be honest, 6th. But I think it might be the upside down. We might start a little bit slower than we did last year. But we'll finish strong when the whips are cracking, which is exciting.
I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? You want to finish stronger than I don't mind starting a bit slow, boys. Don't hurt me, like we're online. I've got you just scraping into the 8. I've got you at 8 at the moment. Based on the other teams, as you mentioned, Foodie, some of the teams around, the Bunnies I've got to have in there, Parramatta I've got to have in there this year. I just think some of those teams that were out of the 8 last year, I think are going to vastly improve this season.
Yep.
I've got the Wars scraping in, so I've got you guys at 8. But I do agree in the sense that I think you guys will get better as the season goes. And very, very excited to see all the players. All right, let's finish off with some last words. Tooks, can you fire up the fans for 2026, mate?
Mate, just they've had a really good year, mate. Last year they had a really it wasn't a great finish to the end of the season, but let's just kind of relive when we had our full side. We were sitting second, so we were going toe to toe with the best of them. So keep the faith. Webby knows what he's doing, and I think we're in for another really good year because we have lost a few of our underbelly. We haven't lost too many of our top liners, and we're gonna start the season. Other than Luke Metcalf, we're gonna have a very strong side straight up. So exciting times.
Very, very good. Foodie, last words, mate.
Yeah, look, a lot of what Tooks has said there, we are building a culture that is just so exciting, and it's been building for a number of years now, and just seeing everything that they're doing on and off the field, especially off the field. They lead the content game. They lead just the amount that they're putting out there and the culture that they're building. Everything you hear about them is just positive. And this is a side that, 5 years ago that they made the big commitment to come over to Australia to keep the comp alive. And we were doing it tough in those years. And here we are a few years later, and we're in this position. And it's a lot of juniors, a lot of good crops coming up. And it's just a really exciting time as a Warriors fan. I've never been so excited. Like, you get years that you go, okay, this could be it. There's a good playing group here, but they're always one off. But this is constant, people are wanting to come to the Warriors. People are wanting to stay, and that should be enough for the fans to get around them. As a fan, I'm loving it, and I'd love to see new people get around them as well.
On a bit of a side note, I don't think we've mentioned, but the New Zealand Warriors women have been very, 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 very good in the off season. They've picked up 3 Broncos girls. I think they've picked up a rugby, All Black rugby girl, and and a couple. And I think might even be an Aussie sevens player as well. So keep an eye on the women. I think they're going to have a real exciting year this year as well. So it's good signs for the Wars. Up the Wars.
Up the Wars.
Absolutely. My last words would just be up the Wars. I hope the Warriors do well. As I said, everyone's second favorite team. Everyone's got a soft spot for the Warriors. You like to see them do well, repay the faith that, as Foodie said, that they did for Australia. So, until next time, that is the Warriors preview. Don't forget to check out our great sponsors at Dream Flooring in Penrith. Check them out today. Miko and Sam do a great job over there at Dream Flooring. So have a look at them today. Our SuperCoach code is in the description. But until next time, I'm Joey. That's Foodie. That's Tooks. Be good.
See you, boys.